Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 280. I'm your host, Andrew Eisen. Welcome to the podcast that YouTube doesn't want to sell ads on. I guess, because that's why it flags it as unsuitable for advertisers every week. But then I set it for then I request a manual review, and a couple days later they say, "Oops, we made a boo-boo. It's fine. There's actually no content in your podcast that runs afoul of our advertising guidelines. Our guidelines of advertising." Every week. I mean, I don't rely on my AdSense revenue for, rent and food. It's every 18 to 20 months or so when I rack up $100 with with ad revenue. That's nice. Getting a free $100 out of stuff I'm doing anyway. That's great. So it's really no skin off my back. It's just still weird to me. Oh, going to see the Bat movie. Well, I will actually be talking I have not seen it. I'm probably not going to go see it. I plan to watch it someday when it's available on a streaming service I have access to, but I'm not going to go to the drive-in to see it. So, but I did watch the deleted scene with the Joker. So I'll talk about that later in the show. I have some other stuff to talk about first. And what I would like to talk about first is the fact that this week I was the proud recipient of a booty call. Yes. And I will regale your ears with this story. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, is Andrew just talking about a booty call that he received this week in order to brag that he was the recipient of a booty call this week? Yes, that's exactly why I'm telling this story. Because it's important that people on the internet that I don't know that I know that at least one other person somewhere on this big ball of earth thinks I'm sexy. So there. I will do anything to pump up my ego balloon. That's right. So, it is... Oh, I don't know. Let me get the story right. Let me see the timestamps here. Dup-dup-duh. Dup-de-doo. Dup-de-doo. Dup-de-dup-de-doo. So, Tuesday... Oh, no. Monday. Yes. Monday. No, I've got the... Tuesday at 9:42 p.m. Okay, because this is not an important detail of the story. But, because I apparently can't read my history very well. So 9:42 p.m. Tuesday night this week, I received a text saying, "Hey, you there?" I am. "What you doing tomorrow?" On Wednesday? Working? "Nothing out of the ordinary," says I. "Just punching the clock." Which means I'll be here. Jared says, "There's probably one out of like 7 billion. Yeah, right? There's at least one. I mean, people have, when people have varied tastes, odds are at least 1 out of 7 billion is going to be totally in to this. So, this is "What you doing tomorrow?" Say, nothing out of the ordinary. She says, "Can I come visit?" She says, what do you think about me coming over tomorrow? I could be there at like 3, but I have to leave at like 7. Now, I'm thinking to myself, I don't buy this for a minute. Because this particular person lives in a different state. So what she's proposing is tomorrow morning sometime, she's going to drive all the way to Southern California from where she lives, which is, depending on how fast she drives, around about 6 hours or so. 6.5 hours maybe. So she's going to drive 6.5 hours here, hang out with me for maybe 4 hours, then drive all the way back, getting home at probably 1 in the morning. With gas prices the way they are. Something tells me she's not serious. Or at the very least, she's drunk. And is probably going to wake up tomorrow going like, oh God, what did I just commit to? If she remembers at all. Because the listeners of this podcast may remember a booty call that I received last summer sometime. Same person who called me late at night and said, hey, let's meet, even though we're a state apart. And so we threw together plans to have a weekend, I think a Labor Day weekend visit. And I spoke to her a little while, I did not believe that was happening, and spoke to her a little while later, and she did not remember it at all. I said, you were drunk, weren't you? Yeah. So I'm thinking, she probably drunk again. But, I entertained her sloshy whims. And I said, well, when you get here, is there anything I could have in my fridge for you? Anything you want to eat or drink? And she says, oh yes, there's only one thing I want. I want Waterloo sparkling water peach flavor. Yeah. And she sent me a picture. Now, she is a smart lady. Because I'm a dumb guy. And we dumb guys, if you send us to the grocery store to pick something up, we're going to get the wrong thing. If you just tell us to go get a thing you need, invariably we will buy the wrong thing. So, pictures. Give us... there we go. Give us pictures of what you want. That way you can be sure we'll actually get the right thing. So, smart lady. So, we chat for a while, and then, it's like, well, gotta, get out here early, so going to bed. Good night, good night. So I wake up in the morning. I just, do my worky thing. I haven't heard from her. Around noon, I text her and say, how's it going this morning? No response. Now, in my mind's eye, I'm picturing her looking at the text and scrolling up and going, oh no. What did I do last night? Oh no. Oh no, I told Andrew I'm going to drive all the way to Southern California to visit him for a handful of hours and then drive all the way back? That's a long round trip just for a couple hours. Especially with gas prices the way they are. And I sat there, and again, I'm imagining these things, but I can just kind of imagine her sitting there going like, oh God, what do I say? And she responds, like 10 minutes later, I have really bad allergies. Gonna have to postpone the visit. So, I have not spoken to her since then. I'll talk to her about it another time, but my guess is that she was, drunk and horny. And if you're horny, don't drink, because you make really bad decisions that you're going to regret later. You're going to make plans with people who live in different states. And then you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and you're going to be like, oh God, what have I committed to? No. I have really bad allergies. Now, it is true that she did not come over to visit. It is true that she was probably drunk and just not in the best of mind and didn't actually mean it. But it still counts. She didn't even remember it. At least the one from August, she don't remember that one. She's like, we did? I'm like, yeah, we were on the phone making plans for Labor Day weekend. I don't remember this. I'm pretty sure she does not remember texting me last night. Still counts. It still counts. I am a very desirable person. Drunk, miserable women who live in other states love me. See, this is what true friendship is all about. Is when you can drunkenly booty call someone and not destroy the friendship over it. But I'm still gonna talk about it on a podcast, which hopefully she doesn't listen to. But not name dropping her anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Wait, have I given details? Could you narrow it down? I mean, there's, 7-some billion people in the world. Have I given enough hints that you could figure out who I'm talking about? Fraser Fish, hello. Alright. So enough about Call of Booty. Let's talk about a story that I have today. Cafe Fox says, dude, this happened twice. She wants it. Only when she's drunk and miserable. Luckily, she doesn't. Luckily, she's not like, getting in her car immediately and crashing or something. Luckily, she sleeps it off and wakes up going, oh, God, no. What have I done? So, the funniest part of that story is back in August was a phone call. So I wrote her like a couple weeks later. I'm like, hey, do you really want me to come out for Labor Day weekend? She's like, what? Last Tuesday's was a text conversation. So she has record of it. So again, mind's eye thing, when I wrote her in the middle of the day, and I knew she wasn't coming. I didn't go out to the store to buy her peach flavored water because I knew she wasn't coming. So I'd sent her a text in the middle of the day. Just a, vague, how is it going? And it took her 10 minutes to respond, and I could just, in my mind's eye, picture her scrolling up through the text messages going, oh no, it happened again. And now there's proof, no. I do like the, I have bad allergies, rather than I'm, washing my hair or something like that. Yeah. Because, hey, I have allergies too. Actually, I had some fairly annoying allergies this week. My sinuses felt like they were trying to punch their way out of my skull from the inside, I don't know how you could get out of my skull from anywhere but the inside, but still, yeah. Alright, so, I have another story. Maybe not as sexy, definitely not as sexy, but I think it's pretty funny. So, here we go. So, sometime this week, I'm working. I'm over at my computer, my work computer, doing my work. And, unbidden, a melody pops into my head. Not enough to distract me from my work, but enough where a portion of my consciousness has to now devote itself to remembering what the entire melody is, because I'm only remembering like portions. I'm like, da, 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 what is this? And then slowly reassemble the lyrics until I can figure out what the heck I'm singing in my head. And so, it took probably 10, 15 minutes as I'm doing other things. I'm like, I want to dance with somebody who loves me. I'm like, that's a song? What song is that? Who sings that? So I move over to my personal computer. Google, I want to dance with somebody. Whitney Houston. Late 80s. I'm like, oh, yeah. I remember that song. My goodness, I've not thought of that song in a while. Why did that just suddenly pop into my head? Huh. Whitney Houston. And I click on the hyperlink to Whitney Houston because I'm thinking, what's she been up to lately? Did she retire? I haven't heard her do anything in like a decade. There's a good reason for that. Whitney Houston died 10 years ago. I don't know if y'all knew this. Whitney Houston passed away in February of 2012. Nobody told me. Cafe Fox, why didn't you tell me? That was on you, Cafe Fox. You were supposed to tell me when Whitney Houston died. Drop the ball there. Somehow, I have made it through the last 10 years not knowing that Whitney Houston was dead. I don't know how I missed that. That seems like something I would have, even if I somehow missed it at the time, would have heard at some point in the last decade. So I text my sister, Whitney Houston is dead, question mark, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation point. And she's like, yeah? I'm like, I just found out Whitney Houston died. She's like, she died 10 years ago. I'm like, I know. How did I not know this? My sister says, you're aware that, like, Michael Jackson's dead? I'm like, yeah, I knew that. And, you know, Prince and Aretha Franklin and David Bowie and Meatloaf and Natalie Cole. And my sister and I were talking on the phone, and we're just, and her man there is, you know, she puts me on speakerphone to, you know, because Jeremy finds this hilarious too. And they're all teasing me about how somehow I missed this tidbit of information. And it was just funny because we're just, you know, going further, and it's like, did you hear that Elvis died? Yeah, it's like, oh man, I just heard that Ricky Valens, Buddy Holly, and the Big Bopper died. So, when did this happen? You know, I don't claim to have my finger on the pulse, but good God. And then I realized, this is not realizing someone is dead has happened a couple of times before. Cafe Fox says, I was just thinking, what the heck? I don't remember that. I was just thinking, I don't know. There you go. Don't know why my voice to text doubles like that. Oh, your voice to text just doubled what you... Okay. I thought you were making a joke about how you forgot what you literally just wrote. But, okay. So, yes, sadly, Whitney Houston passed away a little over 10 years ago. Maybe you heard. I did not. But, man, that is a weird thing. When you're like, Whitney Houston, man. What's she been up to? Did she retire? And you click on her link, it's Whitney Houston, 1960-something to 2012. It's like, oh, shit. Oh, she died. She's been dead for a decade. Oh, I feel like an asshole. How did I not know? I mean, it's I'm glad I wasn't, like, having lunch with the Houstons It's like, hey, what's Whitney been up to? You know, it's like, oh God, no. Because I actually did something like that a couple of years ago. So back in the before times, I was at the office, and I was in the break room talking to someone else who works there. Pardon me. And we were talking about a program we used to run at the office called the Honor Bar, which was snacks and sodas where you could, if you wanted a small little bag of chips or a can of soda, you put a quarter in the jar and you took one on your honor. If you didn't have a quarter, or whatever, 50 cents, whatever it was, you know, there were little IOUs that you could post up on the tack board above it. Diane Williamson was responsible for stocking the honor bar and putting it away at the end of the day, although sometimes she asked me to do it because I stayed later than she did most of the time. So I was talking to someone else, and we were talking about the honor bar and Diane, and who had sadly been they eliminated her position, so she'd been laid off a couple of years earlier, so I hadn't seen her in a couple of years, but we did remain in touch because she was a supporter of Rady Children's and my raising money for them for the Extra Life charity event. So every year we'd chat, and she'd donate some money to the Extra Life charity event that I do. And so I was talking to her, and we're talking about Diane. I was like, yeah, I sent Diane an email, a couple of weeks ago, but I never heard back. And whoever I was talking to looked at me like I was the biggest asshole on the face of the earth. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done? I'm a very stupid, dense male. I've clearly done something wrong, and I don't know what it is. I hate when that happens, and it happens frequently. And she says, Diane's dead. What? It's like her funeral was this weekend. What? Well, no wonder she didn't answer my email. So, it turned out to be one of those things where, after she realized that I wasn't being an asshole, I genuinely did not know that she had passed away like 3 weeks earlier. Turns out that everyone had just assumed someone told me, but nobody did. Like, Cheryl, who sat in the cubicle near me, I was talking to her, and she turns around and she points to the funeral RSVP invitation thingy tacked to the wall of her cube. I'm like, didn't you get one of these? No. Just one of those things where everyone had just assumed that someone had told me. I did not know. Everyone seemed to know, but me. Yeah. Cafe Fox, why didn't you tell me that Diane died? Matthew says, what's an office? Yeah. Hi, Matthew, by the way. So, okay. Switching stories. I was out for a run, and I'm running by this 5-foot retaining wall that's just divides the sidewalk that faces the street from that houses and stuff. So it's a 5-foot wall. It's a planter of a bunch of trees and bushes and stuff. I'm running past, and run, cat. And I turn around, and there is this gorgeous black and white colored cat just crashing there in the planter. Just, you know how if you look at cats at their face from kind of a low angle, the shape of their mouths look like they're smiling. So when they're laying down like this, when they're sleeping, they always look like they're just having the nicest damn dream. And so I'm like, am I going to interrupt my very important exercise to pet a cat? You damn right I am. Uh, are you going to disrupt a sleepy kitty just so you can pet the kitty? I mean, I'm not going to go grab it while it's asleep, but I'll do the, make the noise and see if it's, half awake and wants pets. Always ask first. Don't just immediately grab a cat. See if they're up for pets. But I didn't. I didn't pet the sleepy kitty because I realized the sleepy kitty was not a sleepy kitty. Sleepy kitty was dead. That was a dead kitty. And I was like, ooh, kitty. And I'm like staring at it real. I'm like trying to see if it's, if its chest is moving, if it's, if it's breathing. Because there's nothing's crawling on it, no flies. It looks like that looks like a indoor cat. It is very soft and fluffy and clean. That's almost certainly someone's cat. And and it looked so peaceful. I'm like, just no ear. I'm like, oh no, that's a kitty corpse. Oh, now I feel terrible. So I'm looking at this cat. Unfortunately, no collar. Because again, this is almost certainly someone's pet. Unfortunately, no collar. So, I couldn't. Had no idea whose cat it was, if anybody's. But, yeah. And I tell my sister about this, and she says, did you call anyone? I'm like, well, who would I call? And she's like, the animal service to pick up the dead animal. I'm like, I should do that. So, yeah. But, Dirtball's still alive. If you watch all of my YouTube videos, a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, there was a, what's it called? Let me look for it, because it's a video with a kitty in it. Dirtball. Dirtball cat gets pets from Breathless Runner. Yeah, from September 4th, 2020. There we go. What a twist in the story, says Lyrically Say, yeah. Cafe Fox says, Diane was very secretive. There were lots of things you didn't hear about her you didn't know, yeah. Matthew says, made that same tasteless joke about malls a few years back. Oh, what's a mall? Yeah. So, that cat, still out there. That cat has since been, that's a neighborhood cat. I think his name is Tiger, because some of the people who live in the house called him that. I don't think that's anyone's actual pet. I think that's just a neighborhood cat. Very friendly cat, though. Has since been clipped, so he's been neutered. You could tell by the ear clip, and also his, underside was shaved at one point. Just to really, and someone occasionally washes him too, because occasionally when I run by that area, usually he is just a dirty cat, because he spends all his time outside just laying on the sidewalk. But sometimes I come by and he is freshly washed, so someone's given that cat a bath occasionally, so that's nice. So yeah, I sometimes I don't realize people or cats are dead. And I feel really terrible about that, because I feel like I should be paying attention. Like, I'm fairly into music. I mean, I'm not really into popular music, but when large stars of the music scene pass away, I usually hear about it. Somehow I missed that one. Or I heard about it and then completely forgot. It's possible that I've remembered the fact that Whitney Houston died several times over the last decade and then promptly forgot again. So if in 2 years on Molehill Mountain episode, 300 and something, I'm talking about, I just heard that Whitney Houston died 12 years ago, you guys could say, yeah, you keep forgetting that, buddy. So. Alright. What's next? So I have not seen The Batman. I'll see The Batman when it's on a streaming service that I have access to, but I'm not gonna go to the drive-in. Especially with gas the way it is. I don't really want to make a 30-mile round trip to the drive-in. I've got a little less than a gallon left in my tank, which means that I'm good for another week and a half or two before I actually have to gas up. So, The Cat Returns. I've not seen The Cat Returns. It's one of the Ghibli films. Well, there's a bunch of Ghibli films I've not seen, so that's one of them. But WB or whoever released a deleted scene from The Batman, where the Batman interviews the Joker for 5 minutes. And I thought, okay, well, I mean, it's a deleted scene. And I had already heard that the Joker had a cameo in the movie, so I wasn't really worried about spoilers. Warren! Haven't seen you around. How you doing? Welcome. So I watched the Batman Joker scene, and then I thought, I am going to download this and make a reaction video. And the reaction video is going to be me going, what? 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 Just the entire time, because when I watched it online the first time, I had an awful time understanding most of the dialogue. And sadly, the video was not subtitled. There were auto subtitles, but that didn't help. The auto subtitles couldn't understand me either. Because that was my reaction. What? 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 Enunciate, goddammit! I can't understand what either of you are mumbling about. So I download a copy of the video. I throw it into my editor, I plug in my headphones, and I listen to it, and the dialogue is a lot more clear. I don't know if it was just streaming poorly, or if my desktop speakers are not the highest quality, or my headphones are just that much better. But it's like, okay, I can actually understand the dialogue now. So I watched it again. I'm like, oh, that's what... It might have been partially I'd already seen it, so I was using what I had heard the first time, plus context, to reassemble what they're actually saying, but pretty mumbly. Both of them. The first time I watched it, I had a real difficult time understanding what the hell they were saying. Oh, glad to hear you're doing well, Warren. Gas prices starting to come down? Great. Maybe if I wait longer instead of more expensive, it'll actually be a little bit cheaper. Because right now it's going to cost me like $70 or something to gas up my little car. Which, blows, but I'm, fortunate enough that I work from home, so I don't drive very much. Like, I only gas up my car maybe 3 or 4 times a year since the pandemic started. So, so dropping $70 to fill up my tank. Okay. I mean, there are other things I'd rather spend $70 on, but... So, should that scene have been deleted? I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, so should that have been in the movie or not? I can't answer that without, seeing the movie. Hey! Batman's Batman. Looks like Batman. Talks like Batman. Joker, they seem to be going for kind of a cross between Heath Ledger and Mark Hamill. You know, that looks like he actually fell in a vat of something and his hair's falling out and his skin and stuff is all swollen and scarred. It's an interesting look. They do a nice... The scene is shot pretty nicely where it's constantly from over his shoulder, or, you know, the microphone that's stuck in the glass that's separating him from Batman is obscuring part of his face, so you only ever see parts of his face, and sometimes it's obscured, and sometimes it's out of focus. It's shot nicely. It's not so obscured that you can't see it. You do actually get a good sense of what it looks like, while probably still giving them room to refine or change the look a bit when they bring the full character in later in a subsequent movie. So the dude playing the Joker is Gary Smith, or he's the guy who plays what's his face, one of the Eternals in Eternals. Droog, yeah, that guy. It's Barry something, right? Yeah, Barry something or other. Yeah, that neat. Although, if I were making a Batman movie and and Joker were in it, my take on the Joker is, what if the Joker is this horrible, murdering, bad guy, right? So the Joker's a horrible person who hurts people, right? But no one will do anything about him. Like, he's got a lot of public support, and the law enforcement won't investigate. The criminal justice system won't indict him because he's really damn funny. Like, my pitch for the Joker is he's actually really, really funny, and people just love him. And he is so popular that the police and the criminal investigators and the judiciary system and stuff feel like either won't or feel like they can't do anything because he's untouchable, because he just has so much public support. Because no matter how disgusting he is, no matter how loathsome a human being he is and how many people he hurts, for some inexplicable reason, he's just really damn popular. People love the guy. He's just really funny. It's like, yeah, I mean, he did firebomb an orphanage filled with orphans on Meet Kittens Day, but the guy's really funny, you know? I just kind of like... He's a guy I'd like to have a beer with. There's my take on Joker. And Batman's like pulling it, but he's a bad guy. He killed orphans and kittens. It's like, yeah, but he did in a really funny way. Like, okay, that was horrible, but it was it was a really good punchline to a really clever setup. And you gotta give him that. Yeah, murdered kittens and orphans, but still is pretty funny. Yeah. Batman, like, captures the Joker and strings him upside down from a gargoyle or something like that. Craig Gothamites together. Boo, Batman! Let him go! I don't know if I don't know if the Joker's ever been portrayed like that or not. Probably has somewhere. And if he hasn't, there's probably a good reason for it. So anyway, there's an off the top of my head take on the Joker for you. Jared says, only good argument to remove it, the Joker 5-minute scene, was that it takes from the main villain of the movie. Ace, hello Ace, says, without context, this is really interesting. If you mean my podcast, I'm glad you think so. If you mean the deleted scene, yeah, I was watching it completely out. I don't know if it would fit in the movie. I mean, had I seen the movie, I might say, yeah, I can see why they removed that scene. It's just repeating information we already knew. Or maybe I'd say, you know what? That would have been a pretty cool scene to keep in the film. I don't know. On its own, it's interesting. Is it, like, really good? I mean, without the context of the rest of the story, I have nothing to grab onto. I don't know what they're talking about. So, I would assume they're talking about the Riddler, who I understand is the bad guy in the main movie. But as a scene, it's without context, it's interesting. It's an interesting look for the Joker. So, although the first time I watched it, I couldn't understand the dialogue for the most part. Which is why I was like, what? It's possible maybe I'm starting to lose my hearing, because I finally watched Season 4 of Castlevania, the animated Castlevania show on Netflix. And Ace said, I came in on you saying, yeah, he's horrible, but I'd have a beer with him. There's a good one. It's like if you started on my review of Catwoman from, let me see, because someone mentioned this. If you start my review on Catwoman from this week at the 10-minute and 39-minute mark, you will hear me say, Halle Berry is not bad in this movie. And if you've heard of the Catwoman movie at any point in the last 20 years, nearly 20 years, you'd probably cock your head and go, what? Really? You sure? Because she earned a Razzie. The actor even accepted it. So, yeah. Sometimes no context can make things more fun. Lyrically C says, I'm shocked they released a deleted scene. Aren't they mostly for Blu-ray or DVD release? Oftentimes, but I don't know. I haven't been following box office, so I would assume the Batman is doing fine, all things considered, in theaters. Might have been released just as, to goose. It's like, oh, this is neat. Gotta go see the movie now. Or could be a marketing thing just to see how they're planning a sequel. And although I seem to recall some news mentioning somewhere that Matt Reeves or someone in the production says, yeah, we're not doing Joker in the next movie, which may or may not be the case. WB may have released this scene and go, oh, no, look at the reaction to this. The Joker's definitely in the next movie. Or at least you'll have some Joker scenes. That way you're not lying. It's like, oh, he's not the main... He's there, still in Arkham. Batman still visits his boo. But he's not the main villain. But I didn't say he wouldn't be in the movie. I just said he wouldn't be the villain of the next movie. And he's, one of those. So it could be trying to goose the ticket sales. It could be just market research to see how people react to this version of the Joker, so they can say, we do it just like that, or we do it at all, or if we need to tweak some things. Could be a bunch of things. Could be a combination of them. So I watched Castlevania Season 4 finally, which I think came out like in spring of last year, so it's been one of those I've been meaning to watch it for a while. So I finally watched it, really quite liked it, but I had to turn on the closed captioning because I could not understand a bunch of the dialogue. Everyone in that show mumbles. And everyone's constantly under threat of being eaten by a monster, and everyone's really tired and scared and miserable and very achy. So I can understand why everyone talks like that. Everyone talks like this. They just don't have the energy to intonate or put any emotion in their voices. They're just gonna mumble all of their dialogue. Which is fitting for the setting, but for me anyway, it made it really hard to understand some of the dialogue. So I had to turn on the closed captioning. Sadly, no English subtitles. I don't need dialogue telling me that, I can hear the birds chirping and the door creaking as it opens. I don't need closed captioning. I mean, I'm glad that closed captioning is available. It should be, but closed captioning is not English subtitles. There should be an English subtitle track and closed captioning, ideally. It's possible that my hearing may be starting to go. I don't know. Maybe Batman, Joker, and all the characters in Castlevania are really mumbly, or my hearing is starting to go. I don't know. Ace says, Paul Dini written Mr. Freeze movie will never happen, but it's the Batman movie we need. Well, they did do a, I think it was only like a... Didn't they do a Batman and Mr. Freeze, Batman the Animated Series kind of movie? Do I have that? Let me see. Maybe it's only 2 episodes cut into a movie or something. There we go. Batman and Mr. Freeze, Sub-Zero. Here we go. How long is this? Bum-de-boo. Doo-doo-doo. Runtime. Where the hell's the runtime? 67 minutes. Okay, so it's like 3 episodes worth of stuff. So they actually kind of did do a Paul Dini Mr. Freeze Batman movie. Do you remember when companies, and Warner Brothers, I think, was the last one to do these absolute shit DVD cases with the, the cardboard front and the little snap case, where this thing would always get bent and destroyed, and this piece of plastic is, covering up part of the art. Oh God, I hate these snap cases, and they used to do these all the damn time. This was back in the day when you actually had to look at the back of the DVD and make sure it was actually in the proper aspect ratio. Like, they'd sell 2 versions of movies, one in the wrong aspect ratio and one in the correct. Around that time, they had these damn snap cases, and hate them so much. Warner Brothers, as I recall, is one of the last holdouts for this case type. So, yeah. Bum-de-boo. Ow. There we go. So, Castlevania. If they make a season 5, I'm going to guess that, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. Season 4 seems to be the end of that arc. Like, if they do another one, they're probably going to do a different Belmont, move forward 200 years and just do a new cast of characters. Do I like DC animations? The ones I've seen, yeah. The television shows from the 90s, Batman the Animated Series, the Superman Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, those continued into the early 2000s, but those were all really, really solid. A lot of the DC animated films, at least from the like 2000 to 2010, were often very good. Like the Wonder Woman movie's good. I have a bunch of them. I have Mask of the Phantasm's great. Return of the Joker's good. Those are the Batman ones. But I have some of the Superman ones. I can't remember the names of the movies, but they. While the DC live action movies are kind of hit and miss, at least the ones I've seen, Their animated fare, at least the ones I've seen, tend to be pretty good on average. Um, the DC animated movies, of what I've seen, are kind of like the Marvel live action movies to me. For me, the Marvel live action movies are generally pretty good. They tend to range from pretty good to pretty great. That's the, of what I've seen, the DC animated films for me. They range from pretty good to pretty great. I have not seen a lot of the DC animated films from the last 10 years. Um, so I'm not sure about them. I did see, I think I saw Flashpoint and thought it was terrible. I remember seeing one and thinking it was just awful. I think it's Flashpoint. It might have been another one. Maybe it was Justice League War. What, I don't remember. But I remember it's like it had some of the worst animation I'd ever seen from, well, produced by, I don't know who they farmed out the animation to, but ooh, terrible. But I haven't seen a lot of, like, they have two Suicide Squad movies. They have Catwoman Hunted that just came out like in the last couple of months. I'd like to see them. I haven't got around to it yet. But the DC animated stuff has been really good from what I've seen. I would still like to see Teen Titans. The Teen Titans Go is not targeting me, so that's never been for me. But the movie Teen Titans Go to the movies, that looks really funny, and I've heard it's quite good. So I would like to see that at some point. I've never seen Young Justice, but I hear it's really good. So I might try to watch that at some point. So yeah, to answer your question, I am generally quite fond of the DC animated stuff, and as far as the live action stuff goes, some of it's really, really good. Some of it I didn't like. Some of it is bad. Like Catwoman. Although it's interesting, for those of you who don't know, I'm working on a project right now where I'm watching. So I have a new series. Superhero Fanboy finally watches any one of the like 25 some odd superhero films from the last 20 years that I haven't seen. So far, I've watched Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Catwoman, and I haven't released it yet. I just recorded it, haven't edited it yet, but I just this week watched Constantine. So there's about 24 superhero movies from the last 20 years I haven't seen, so I'm doing a new series of videos where I finally watch them and review them. So far, they've all been bad. I'm regretting this project. Yeah, I may have skipped all these movies for a really good reason. At this point, I went into Constantine thinking, I don't expect this to be good. I just hope it's okay. I hope I come out of Constantine going, you know what? It's fine. Is it good? No. It's okay. But no, Constantine was bad. But of the 4 films I've seen so far, and Fantastic Four is next, I think. I don't expect Fantastic Four to be good, but I hope it's at least okay, you know? I'm hoping to... I mean, how low are my expectations? I'm hoping to come out of the movie going, it's okay. It's fine. But at the very least, of the 4 movies I've seen so far, the 2 Amazing Spider-Men, Catwoman, and Constantine... oh, there's another one. I think there's like at least 1, if not 2, Hellblazer animated films. Haven't seen any of those either. So wouldn't mind seeing a John Constantine focused story, because I'm only familiar with the character showing up in other people's books or cartoons. I've never actually read any of the Hellblazer or Hellblazer series or seen the show. Didn't they do like 1 season of Hellblazer and then cancel it? And then that actor showed up as that character, I think, in Legends of Tomorrow. Something else I don't watch. The DC TV stuff, from what I've seen, is usually has ranged from shockingly bad to not for me. Like, although I haven't seen most of it, Arrow didn't interest me. Flash didn't interest me. I saw the first episode of Supergirl and I thought it was terrible. Saw the first episode of Batwoman and thought it was alright. Is Black Lightning DC? I think it is. Black Lightning's really good. I like Black Lightning. Legends of Tomorrow I haven't seen, so... Stargirl is fine. It's okay. Doom Patrol's really good. I really like Doom Patrol. The Harley Quinn animated thing is really, really good. I'm missing some. What am I missing? Swamp Thing had potential, but it was clearly canceled like halfway through filming, and they just kind of ended the series. That's a shame. I think that one had some really nice potential there. He says, yeah, the Castlevania characters mumble, especially Alucard and Hector. Oh, God. Yeah, Alucard is a mumbler. Both Hector and Isaac are mumblers. Belmont is Trevor is a mumbler. Carmilla, Lenore, I can understand them. Most of the vampires I can understand. It's the human character. What's her name? Cypher? The magic user who travels with Trevor. Like Susan. She doesn't mumble, but occasionally she has I don't know what her accent is, but occasionally she'll pronounce a word in a way that I'm like, what? So, still, overall, really enjoyed Castlevania. It surprisingly happy ending. I was like, that's uplifting. I wanted to be more miserable at the end. Not like there isn't any tragedy, but a lot of folks actually end up with a happy ending in Castlevania, which is weird to me. To the point, I mean, it's not quite to the point where they're like, blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies, do I say? They should have ended it with a song and dance, really. Paced pretty well. It's interesting. It's the fourth season's 10 episodes, I think, and there's a lot of characters. The first, 4 or 5 episodes are like, okay, here's what Susan and Trevor are doing. Here's what Carmilla's other sisters are doing. Here's what Hector, Isaac, and Lenore are doing. Here's what Alucard and his new friends are doing. And then everyone comes together. And then the last basically the climax is in the penultimate episode, and the final episode is essentially the epilogue. But there's without spoiling anything, there's 2 main pieces. One regarding Saint Germain's backstory and motivation, I think, is rushed. It's kind of underdeveloped. I cut my hair, but I didn't shave. You only get one, I guess. Still, really quite liked it. I think episode 4 or 5, it looks like they ran out of money because, man, the characters go off model in a couple places. Obviously, not the most highly budgeted animated show, but they're using what resources they have smartly. You know, if you know what to look for, you're like, okay, I see the shortcuts you're taking there, but that's pretty clever. So, some good stuff. I really liked it. Bum-de-bum-de-boo. Let's see. What are we talking about? Lyrically Ceases. That's how I look at Marvel and DC when it comes to their films. Yeah. There's a lot of them. Some are good, some are not as good. You know? That was the point I wanted to make. The 4 movie, the 2 Spider-Man, Catwoman, and Constantine, I think all of them are bad movies. But there were things in each movie that I genuinely enjoyed. And none of the movies made me angry. They were bad, but I wasn't upset with them. I didn't need to pause the movie and then go for a walk. I didn't need to call my sister and rant about how upset I was. And there have been shows that have done that. Like, Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. I hated that. I had to just stop and and call my sister and vent. Iron Fist. Iron Fist irritated me so much I had to stop and go for a walk and call my sister and vent. Nope. Pause. Nope. Put shoes on. I'm gonna go walk. I'm gonna angrily walk because Danny Rand is annoying me. So even though I would classify Catwoman, Spidey 1 and 2, Amazing Spidey 1 and 2, and Constantine as bad movies, they didn't make me angry, so there's that. So thank goodness. So hopefully, isn't that all you can ask? Is that the movie isn't so bad it makes you angry? Let's see. Marvel for the real life and DC for the animated. Yeah, I would say, it says lyrically. See, I would say generally speaking, Marvel's live action stuff usually ends up being pretty solid, and DC's animated stuff usually ends up being solid. Marvel doesn't have a ton of animated stuff. It has some, but well, let's see. Some of the old Marvel stuff, like the 90s Spider-Man and X-Men, is some classic. That's some good stuff. I saw a couple episodes of Marvel Rising, and I'm just not sure what to make of that. I didn't think it was very good. Some of the movies they made are not very good. Like, they had a Hulk versus one, which was... One was like Hulk versus Wolverine, and one was Hulk versus Thor, but they were both like 40 minutes long, so they shoved them together. And they're okay. They did an animated adaptation of not World War Hulk, the one where he's on Sakaar or wherever and he becomes a gladiator. And then he meets a woman and they have a kid. It's the events that precede World War Hulk, and I can't remember what it's called. But their animated adaptation of that is okay. What else? They just don't have a whole ton of animated stuff. At least not much that's coming to mind. They've got a animated Spidey Friends one, which is fairly new on Disney Plus, but that's CG animated. It's obviously for small children. It's very chibi. I haven't watched it. I'm sure it's fine for kids, but it's not for me. Oh, you know what DC's also doing really well with? Lego Batman was really good. The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I don't like it as much as many do, but I thought it was pretty solid, and I'm looking forward to the sequel to that. So, yeah, DC seemed to get off on a shaky foot with their live-action stuff. They tottered around with it for a couple. The early stuff like Catwoman's bad. Green Lantern, I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list. I hear it's bad. It's probably bad. But here's some. A lot of the X-Men movies. Technically that's Fox. These movies are from Fox. The Fantastic Four and the X-Men movies, the ones I haven't seen, all look bad. So, but there's a lot of the DC live-action movies I've really quite enjoyed. Wonder Woman, I thought the third act was weak, but overall pretty good. Liked the movie. I thought the Birds of Prey movie was great. Thought the Suicide Squad, the James Gunn version, was great. I thought Shazam and Aquaman were great. So they've made some really good movies, I think. But they've also made a few that I haven't seen because they don't look very good, and I'm kind of scared because they're long. Like Batman v Superman. Looks bad, and it's 3 hours. Justice League looks bad, and it's like 4 hours. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. But to be fair, I haven't seen him, so I might watch him and go, oh man, you know what? I liked it. So I'm watching my unseen superhero films. I've decided to do in chronological order, so it's going to be a while before I get to Batman v Superman, Justice League, Wonder Woman 84, and Ayer's Suicide Squad. So we're going to have to go through all the Fantastic Four movies, all the X-Men movies that I haven't seen. Jonah Hex. Yeah, it's on the list. I haven't seen that. The Ghost Rider movies, that's Marvel too. Although that was probably Fox at the time. It wasn't Marvel Disney whoever, I don't know what studio had that. Anyway, just rambling now. Constantine shows up in some of the new cartoons. I've heard, yeah. I've actually seen the character in some of the cartoons. Like, I think he's in like a couple of the episodes of Justice League Unlimited, if I'm not mistaken. Or I'm thinking of him from something else. But I know I've seen the character before. Chaos, hello. First 2 seasons of Arrow are great. The first 2? Because there's like, what, 8 seasons of that show? Superman. Oh, Superman Lois. I forgot about that. Yeah, I've not. I haven't seen it, so don't know. Would you watch the last Punisher movie for your series? I've seen all the Punisher movies. So I've seen the Thomas Jane movie, which is not very good. I've seen the War something Punisher War Crimes. Trying to remember the name of the woman who directed it, and I can't remember. All right, IMDb, save me, IMDb. You're my only hope. It's not Punisher War Crimes. It's Warzone, maybe. The 2004 Punisher with Thomas Jane and John Travolta. I saw it's not very good. Warzone, yeah. Who directed it? Lexi Alexander, that's who it was. I enjoyed that movie. Is it, like, really good? No, but I thought it was quite entertaining. So I enjoyed Punisher Warzone. Is there another Punisher movie? There isn't, as far as I recall. I saw the Thomas Jane did a Punisher short film called Laundry Day or something like that, which was, as a short, pretty good. There's also the the Dolph Lundgren one from '89. I've seen that. It's not very good. It's goofy and fun. It's from late '89. Yeah. It has really almost nothing to do with the Punisher, if I recall correctly. Yeah, Louis Gossett Jr.'s in it. The 2 seasons of the Punisher on Netflix were. The first season was pretty decent. Had a lot going for it. Didn't totally work. Second season had some good stuff in it, but overall I don't think worked. I really love John Bernthal. John Bernthal. I love John Bernthal's portrayal of Frank Castle. I think he's a really fantastic actor and really, really love his take on the character. So, if Marvel wanted to roll that version of the character into the main MCU, I wouldn't object. I like him. Planet Hulk. That's what it is, Cafe Fox. Thank you. Yeah, there was Planet Hulk, and then it was followed up by World War Hulk. So yeah. And lyrically, he had it at Warzone. There's a Taken TV. I read Tekken. I'm like, there's a Tekken TV series. There's a Taken TV series. I actually did hear there was. Did not know that. But what was the question? Would you watch the last Punisher movie for myself? Well, I've already seen it, so no, because I've already seen it. But I have the. Let me go through the list if anyone's wondering. Okay. Pardon me. Okay, so we did. I did Catwoman. That was posted this week. Already did Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Those were in previous weeks. Uh, Next week or the week after, I'll have my review of Constantine. After that, we have Fantastic Four. Then Superman Returns, X-Men The Last Stand, Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Um, it's not DC or Marvel, but there's The Spirit. I'm kind of waffling about that one. I'm not even sure, but X-Men Origins Wolverine. Jonah Hex, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, Green Lantern, The Dark Knight Rises, The Wolverine, X-Men Days of Future Past, Fant Four Stick, X-Men Apocalypse, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, that's the David Ayer one, Justice League. For Batman v Superman and Justice League, I think I will watch the director's cut of Batman v Superman. It's also, as far as I can tell, the only version available on HBO Max. And the Snyder cut of Justice League, partially because, from what I understand, those are the superior versions of the film. Also, because I don't want to watch two versions of these movies. I mean, if I watch, Batman v Superman, Justice League, and really enjoy them, I'll probably seek out the theatrical versions just to compare them, because I find that stuff interesting, but we'll see. X-Men Dark Phoenix, Joker, The New Mutants, and Wonder Woman 1984. The Batman, I guess, will be on there, but that's not one I've skipped. It just came out in the theater and I haven't seen it. These are all movies that I missed because I just didn't go see them. So that's my list. May have missed something. If there's a superhero movie that isn't on the list that you want to know if I've seen or not, let me know. And if I haven't seen it, I'll add it to the list. And there we go. And that's that. Okay, I've managed to ramble for over an hour. That's as is my way. Hey, Moon Knight starts this week. So that'll be fun. Unless it's a bad show. I don't know. I have no opinion on Moon Knight, the character, because I've never read any of those books. So, I don't think I've ever seen Moon Knight show up in anything I've read. So, I'm going into Moon Knight pretty cold. So if they betray the character, I'm not going to know. Because I know Sin City, I've seen both of the Sin City films. I wouldn't consider those superhero films, but I really liked the first Sin City, and I thought the second one was pretty bad. What was the subtitle? Dame to Kill For, I think. I thought, if I'm remembering correctly, there's like 3 or 4 stories in, I think, each movie. And I think one of the stories in the second film I thought was pretty good, and the rest of them were just pretty crap. But, yeah, I enjoyed Sin City. So, I think they were like 10 years apart, right? Oh, IMDb! Be my IMDb. That didn't work. Sin City. 2005. Yeah, Dame to Kill For, and it was 2014, so 9 years later. Yep. And yeah, I've read not all of them, but I've read a few of the Sin City comics, so that's okay. Never did read the 300 though. Saw the movie, really enjoyed the movie. The sequel, not so much. What was the sequel called? It was called The Eva Green Show. Rise of an Empire. I remember Eva Green is in it. So she must have done something cool. Because I don't remember anyone else in it. I don't remember what it's about. Sullivan Stapleton. Don't know. Oh, Lena Headey. She's still Queen Gorgo. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember her in the movie. Oh, David Wenham. Is he in a flashback? I don't remember. Oh, Rodrigo Centro. That must have had Xerxes in there, too. Man, 300 Rise of an Empire was basically just in one eyeball and out the other. Is that how that works? I don't know. I watched it. I have it. It's on the shelf there somewhere, probably towards the front. I must prove it to you all. Is it? Yeah. See, 300 and 302. Did I put that? Yeah, 300 and 300 part 2. Yeah, there's Evergreen. This new chapter of the epic saga 300, told in breathtaking visual style. I should stop reading it like that. It'll take me forever to get through this. That defined the original blockbuster brings the fight for the glory to a challenging new battlefield, the sea. There are boats in this one. Okay, I'm kind of remembering that now. There's boats. Greek general Themistocles, is pitted against massive invading Persian forces who are ruled by the god King Xerxes and led by Artemisia. Probably Evergreen. The vengeful commander of their navy, knowing his only hope of defeating the Persian armada is to unite Greece. Tom leads the charge that will change the course of the war. Now, I remember boats. That's about it. I remember boats. There are boats. 302 has boats in it. And they totally should have called it 302. Or 301. Or 302. I don't know. 300. Rise of an Empire. Whatever. It should be 302, be called 301 or 300. Yeah, Siberian Tiger. Hello, Siberian Tiger. Alright, I need to eat dinner. So we're done. We're done with the podcast, and I will try to pay attention when people die. So thanks everyone for hanging out with me. I will think about shaving. Might not do it, but I'll think about it. So tomorrow we continue our journey through second chapter of Trails in the Sky, and we are currently in the chapter 8 of More Than 8, and we have our run of Liberal, and we are just running around, talking to everybody in the entire kingdom, because that's how we do. And I also found out about as thorough as I can be, I found out about a couple things I missed. So we're back near where we're near the Valeria Lake. We're south of, near the Kingfisher and south of Bose. So we ended last week in Rouen. I did some things there, and then I hoofed it back to Bose. For reasons that will become clear tomorrow, I hope. So, join me tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, for some more Trails in the Sky fun. And in the meantime, have a nice dinner, brush and floss. That's important. Get a good night's sleep, and unless it's already the middle of the day, because, I try not to be as America-centric as I can often be. Because, someone was trying to send me something and said, need your address. Sent their address. Forgot to put USA as part of the address. Because, Americans like me sometimes forget that there are other countries. Yeah. Did you know there are other measurement systems? I remember my mom telling me, I remember complaining, telling my mom, it's like, you know what, they've been threatening me with the metric system all through school, but we never actually switched. She says, yeah, they threatened me with the metric system all through my schooling, too. I've got a funny feeling that America's never going to switch to the metric system. Called a hunch. All right. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.